I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Bellroy City Tote, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making you content to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. Bellroy has a few different sizes of these tote bags. This one is the smallest of the 3 at the time of this video. They also make, it's 10 liters. They also make a 15 liter and a 25 liter. So this one I think is the most suited for just kind of general everyday sort of travel. It is a really decent size just to kind of shove everything that you need in there. And I'll kind of walk you through a few different features. So looking at the outside of this, we have a range of material options. For these right now, they're all made with recycled water bottles. It's like a polyester. This one here is the copper colorway, and they are leather free as well. So obviously they might be adding more colorways. You can definitely check those out on their website because they do change fairly often, but right now we have like these kind of nice bright colorways. I did notice that it picked up marks pretty easily. You can see some marks down here. There's another one down here. Overall, it's nothing too intense. It doesn't come off super easily. And it does pick up pet hair pretty quickly as well, but if you lint roll it, it sort of rolls right off, so that's really nice. But just something to keep in mind, you know, if you're tossing this around into pretty mucky places, it might get a little bit difficult to clean up. And then over here, we have a Bellroy logo accent, and then, or the logo is on the back here, their little bird, and then on the front here is the actual text. So overall, it's pretty subtle. The handles themselves are really soft. They feel like a very soft seatbelt material, and they are reinforced down here as well, or I guess rather on the inside. And so that helps a lot with when you're carrying a ton of gear. I had this packed out pretty full, basically to capacity, and even so, it still felt pretty comfortable to carry. This isn't something that you're going to be like hauling around all day long, but it is really great to have in a pinch. There is a little bit of a loose thread right there, but it seems to be more of like a cosmetic thing than anything. It doesn't really give me too many durability concerns. And then another really great feature about this is that because of its gusseted design, it stands up on its own when it is full with gear. However, if it is a little bit too empty, it can start to tip over, which we'll get into shortly. What I like a lot about this tote is that the carry handle straps are super long, but not overly long. So it's a little bit hard to see, but if I were to just carry this by my side, it doesn't drag on the ground or anything like that. I'm 5'6", but the handles themselves are long enough where I can get my arm through, even when I do have gear packed all the way to the top. I even had a little bit of gear packed over the top because I was overstuffing this for a trip, and I was still able to get my arm through and kind of rest it comfortably on my shoulder. So I think that that is a really huge perk when you have a tote where it's not like, you know, you're trying to shove your arm in there, especially if you have like a larger jacket or something on, but that it's not so unwieldy that it's like dragging on the ground or really like falling against the lower half of your body. So we're going to just look at the inside of this tote really quick, and it is as simple as you think it's going to be. So looking at it, just getting those carry handles out of the way, you can see that it's pretty much an open space, but with 2 little pockets on the side here. So right now I just have it packed out with a couple of cubes, but otherwise, you know, what I usually put in here was like this water. I have a water bottle over on this side. I can take that out actually just kind of as we go. I had a water bottle in there. Sometimes I threw like an extra layer in there. I was going on a cabin trip, so I brought a couple of extra games, and it was just sort of like my dump tote essentially, and I kept it with me in the car as well, so I had quick access to everything. So it was really great for that. Like I said, I think the size is just right. So then if you take out these packing cubes, you start to see one of the disadvantages of this tote here. You can see it's a little bit heavy. So I have gear in these 2 pockets, and then I have a laptop over here in a sleeve, and this is really what's giving it its structure at this point. If I were to take the laptop out, then you can see that the pockets get pretty heavy, and it can be a little bit difficult to actually load the tote itself. I found that it was easiest to load up, you know, your larger items, give it a little bit of structure, and then start to put in these tinier items in the pockets. But, you know, it's a fairly simple thing. I mean, if you've ever carried a tote, you know it's not going to be the most structured thing in the world. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but something to keep in mind. What I do like about these pockets is that both of them are out of what they call the crush zone. So you can see that they go down pretty far. Actually, if you want to look at the outside here, you can see this stitching here. That shows you exactly where those pockets are. So in terms of aesthetics, I don't think it's like that big of a deal to have the pockets showing on the outside, but it does give you an idea of how big those pockets are. In here I have, you know, phone and some snackies, and then, oh, everything's falling over. And then on the other one here, I have a little phone, tripod, and I have my AirPods, and then a wallet as well, another Bellroy item. So overall, it's fairly simple. The inside here has kind of, it's like a slicker material. This isn't the same as the Market Tote, which I also reviewed. And this just is a little bit easier to wipe up. So if you wanted to use this, you know, for like fresh produce or something like that, and it gets a little bit icky on the inside, you can wash that off. This here is not that same slick material, so it can pick up dirt and grime, kind of like the outside of the bag. Again, not a huge deal, but something to keep in mind. So then, like I said, with these, this gusseted base, you can kind of see how it gets flat down there. But then if you, once this is empty, if you want to pack it up, you totally can. So you can sort of see the previous like fold lines for this bag. And so what you do is you fold it into thirds, and then you can keep the handles down there, fold it in half, and then honestly you could even fold it in half again. So while this isn't technically a packable tote, it does pack down super small. And so what's great about this is you sort of get that like premium feel and all of these tote-like features without, you know, it taking up a ton of space. If you wanted to keep this contained, you can use like Velcro cable ties or even a hair tie, or just stick it in like a stuff sack or something like that. So that is definitely an option. I do have the Market Tote over here just as like a quick look inside. You can see it has that very, very similar design, but it does have a decent amount more of width. But the perk of this is that on the inside, you get a couple of extra pockets. You do get these pockets that go all the way through, and those are designed to hold like water bottle, wine bottle, those sorts of things, and keep them really secure. This one is called the Market Tote, more designed for like market items, whereas this one here is the City Tote and more designed for everyday carry. So I didn't really miss those like pass-through pockets. I think one of my critiques on that actually was that there were 2 pass-through pockets, and I felt like I could have used one more of these regular pockets, and then now I have 2 of these pockets, so that's really great. But it does, this is large enough, they say, to fit 6 wine bottles or 2 6-packs of soda. So if that's something that, you know, you grab very often from the grocery store and you just want to keep this in your car or something, or even your like day pack so that you have a little bit of an extra carry option, then this is going to be a really great shout for its size. So there you have it, the Bellroy City Tote. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.